Welcome to the latest Latin2Latin connection segment of the South Florida Community Roundup, where we bring you expert insights on important topics for our community. Today, I'm really excited to introduce our special guest because she's an entrepreneur like myself, and I've known her for a few years, and I'm just fascinated about everything that's going on with her business and everything she gets involved in the community. Her name is Diva Name, the Colombian-born owner and founder of La Mexicana Taco Bar. We're going to talk about you being Colombian and having a
Yeah,
Mexican restaurant, right, Diva?
yes.
This is a very successful Mexican restaurant with two locations in Fort Lauderdale. And, what we know about Diva is that she's passionate about being a restaurateur. And she's also a community advocate who embodies bold leadership, having built her business from scratch with family and friends, just like myself. And her journey began in Barranquilla, and we're going to talk a little bit about that too, which led her to hospitality industry in New Jersey, and culminating in her determined move to Florida in 2014 to pursue her dream of entrepreneurship. She successfully launched La Mexicana flagship location in Wilton Manors, and whoever hasn't been there, you have to go because it's really cool. Known for its authentic, made from scratch Mexican cuisine. Yes, it is indeed. And her dedication led to the 2023 opening of her second location. Actually, it's in the process of being open in an
Mhm.
iconic Fort Lauderdale establishment. Diva's work ethic and commitment to her staff, whom she considers family, have made La Mexicana a thriving and celebrated destination for both locals and tourists. Welcome, Diva. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mindy, and thank you very much for all that.
Not a problem. So tell me about Barranquilla and then how you ended
Okay.
up in New Jersey. That's a big contrast, right?
Too big. Yeah, so I'm originally from Barranquilla, and I went to school for international relationships and diplomacy, and my dream was to be a consul. So I ended up, working for the Colombian consulate in Manhattan, and that's how I came to this country. Loved it. It was fantastic, but I always have also the dream of, being my own boss and, having my own business. Actually, I have my first business when I was 16 in Colombia. I used to bake cakes, cupcakes,
I love
and
it.
just sell them. Love it so much. And yeah, while I was in New Jersey, I had the opportunity to learn from hospitality. And I was just passionate. I'll go to restaurants and I'll just love it. Because for me, it was that connection. We're Latinas, and we know that food brings people together. So I've always been fascinated about it. So yeah, when things start going not that well in the consulate because political climax, a lot of instability in our government that we all, know about it. I decided, just to take legal faith and start working in a restaurant. It was my first job in hospitality and just learning. And it was a great lesson because it's not about serving a table, it's not about making a sale, but it's the component of bringing people together, pay attention to detail.
Right.
And I fall in love with it.
That's wonderful. We're going to talk a little more depending on the time, etc. But I want to announce to our audience that we are also filming. We decided we always film on video, but we're decided that we're going to be utilizing the video so that we can put it into later on into the in YouTube or something like that because I think people want to see us interacting and everything. And this is a news to our audience. Let's talk about you went from what you said, being a diplomat, and then going for the passion of food and people together and so forth. Were your family involved in it in any sense? Do you have the entrepreneurial vein or something like that? I want to compare if it follows more
Yeah.
or less my family background.
I feel that the answer is yes.
Okay.
I come from, single mother, and, she gave me everything that I have right now, especially my education. And I saw her, from an early age. She had her own boutique in, the center of Barranquilla, and she'll sell like photocopies, cell phones. She had, before when you wanted to get it like your passport, you needed to get like a digital picture. So, she owned this camera that she brought from the States, and she would bring me to work with her
Oh,
Sundays.
wow.
So I feel that I'm really learning from her, or I saw it from her. I just never like put it together until I started my own business. But it's something that I always, saw my
You know,
mom.
it's incredible because similar to my background, we had family, my grandparents, my father, even my mother, I know also my mother's side, everybody was an entrepreneur. That was a big deal. You scrape some money from family and members,
Yeah.
and you went on and into developing whatever the business was. And for me, I knew since I remember my grandparents owned a gas station. I remember pumping gas when I was
Hmm.
like 7 years old. So I knew that work ethic and that component, and I wanted to be like my grandparents. That's the memory I have. But it was until later on that I realized that I was connecting the dots, going back to my childhood and saying,
Yep.
now I'm ready to be an
Exactly.
entrepreneur. So I see that you have said, I also sold, I think I sold Amway, what is the cosmetic company, Avon. I sold so many things when I
Yeah.
was in my, in my
You
teens.
never know, all those little things from the past, how they're gonna help you and how they're shaping you, without
Yes.
knowing.
Exactly. And that's my point. I guess I became conscious about that later on. I said, oh my God, I've been a serial entrepreneur since I
Yeah.
was in my teens, and I didn't even
Yeah.
know that. Uh,
Yeah.
but this is about you. So let's go back to what then prompted for you to leave what many New Yorkers, New Jerseyans do. They come down to Florida. So, which
Yeah.
I did the same thing. So what prompted you to come down here? Do you have family? Do you know the market? Tell me a little bit about that.
So my mom was already living here in
Oh,
Miami. Well, it was in Miami. I'm in Fort Lauderdale area.
yeah.
And I was already working for this family that owns a couple of restaurants in New Jersey, right? They have like three different restaurants. They have a nightclub. I was fortunate enough to work for them and to learn everything that they knew. Very hardworking family. They taught me everything. I spend those extra hours just learning from the kitchen, from how to do order. I didn't even know how to drive when I moved to the
That's
States.
right. Because
Yeah, and I
you,
learned how to drive using their van and using their vehicle because I needed to go and purchase groceries, or we have an event and I needed to buy some decoration for the event. So they were a great school, and I will forever be grateful to them for that. But I wanted to be close to my mom. I'm an only child from my mom's side, and I felt that I was ready. I was ready. I saved some money, and I was tired of the cold.
so
And
let's
it
talk
was,
about that. Let's talk about that because obviously you're coming with a family, but whoever is listening to you and is thinking about starting their own restaurant or anything like that, and you actually say that you basically pull resources from your own family members and yourself, so you save money, but then you come up with the concept, and then you
yeah,
decide to do a Mexican restaurant, not a Colombian. Why? Tell me the steps that you took in order to do that, because that's
yeah.
bold.
So when I moved, I was so tired of the industry because my hours they were so long that I said, you know what? I want to have just a coffee shop. I want something
Mm,
quiet. I want something beautiful. I want healthy food, Floridian weather. So I started as a coffee shop, and the name was La Frutera Garden Bar.
okay.
And
I didn't know
I love,
that.
yeah. So I had it for 3 years, and I did well, but it was just not enough. So after 3 years of, kind of like being against another coffee shop that were emerging in the moment, because it was like the boom for the coffee shops here in South Florida. Um, I started trying the cuisine of Mexican cuisine, and what happened was that I put one time an item on the menu that it was a wrap, and I have this customer that said, "Hey, may I have this burrito?" And that's when it clicks. Should I maybe explore Mexican food? Because
Ah,
I was already 4 years into it when I live in New Jersey. I work in Mexican restaurants.
I see. Okay.
So that was one of the things. A lot of people also thought that I was Mexican because of my accent, I guess. And they'll call it the Mexican spa. They never were able to pronounce La Frutera. It was a too
I see.
complicated name, for the American population. And so it was just so many like coincidence, right? That they just lead
All
me
the
to
signs aligned, kind of like all
open
the.
it. And again, like for me, it was very important to have a restaurant that it was a feminine concept, but also a concept that it will represent Latinas. And I
Gotcha.
feel that the Mexican woman is the perfect representation for that because it's family oriented, because it's hard worker, and and they're able to do anything that they want in this country, really. So I said, I think it's perfect.
It's funny because, you're seeing that people, they tend to think that us Latinos were kind of against each other because of your
Mhm.
Colombian or your Mexican or Puerto Rican or whatever. And I just noticed that the more and more that we're kind of like pulling for each other and we're supporting each other and we're trying to just celebrate the culture regardless of it. And that's what this program is all about, to be honest with you. It's
Yeah,
about that. And I'm excited to know a little bit about how you make it happen, etc. The Frutera was in the same location as the Mexicana
it
is
was
right.
in the same location. Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, so actually the way that the I can now picture that it's like a fruit stand almost, right?
yeah,
Coffee, because it's kind of a little bit open and closed area. I remember
yes.
I haven't been there in a while. I should go. But let's talk about something that you talk a lot about. It's like obviously authentic Mexican food. And that for those that we know about authentic
Mhm.
Mexican food, you know when you know, right?
Yeah.
But you say that the place, it's a place of a special place and a school of learning. What do you mean by that?
Uh, this business had taught me so much patience. It
Hmm.
has taught me that you may think that you know everything, but we really don't know anything.
Yeah. It's not a
It had
textbook, right?
no, not at all. It had taught me that even though I have not a lot of family here, your staff, it became your family,
I can
and
imagine.
you need to support each other because nothing is perfect. You need to understand that um, we have this like perfection business, perfection, perfect idea in our minds, but it's never going to happen because what it makes it unique is also the mistakes that are happening, through the journey. And you need to embrace that. And you need to know that we're humans. And what it makes a place special, or at least to me, is that touch, is that warm feeling when you come here and you had a hard day and you want to celebrate with a margarita because why not?
Why not? Yeah.
We're that kind of place. And that it will not happen just having, the right liquor in place or having the right food on place. It's about people. So I feel that I learn every day. And even though that I've been 11 years in business,
Amazing.
if I something that I have to take always with me is that it's about seasonality, and not seasonality because we're in summer or we're in winter, but different seasons through our life
I see. Yeah.
and through different
The
phases
business
that
part.
happen also in our country right now.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting thing, and I remember that I went to visit several times, a little bit before COVID and then after COVID, and your staff was there working hard, so they've been with you for a long time, for the most
Yeah,
part, right? Uh, that's very, and you're thriving right in the middle of Wilton Manors, that is not really an ethnic community. Yes, there is
mhm.
a large LGBT community, but it's very, very diverse, very
It
varied,
is.
etc. Right? So that makes you stand out from the rest, correct?
Yeah, I'm very proud to be in Wilton Manors because I get to tell everybody the Wilton Manor is more than party, is
Mhm.
more than just drink. We are a family city. We're a family. We're a city that we support each other.
Nice.
because since day one, when I opened this location, they're always been here. Everybody from the neighborhood, they're being here. They have promoting me. They have had conversations with me when things are not looking that good. It's a community that every time that I have reached out for different events or for, whatever I have in mind, they're always been there. And I love that they're so open minded that it makes me feel very lucky for this to be, my first business and my school.
Well, you have earned it, which is you deserve the credit of earning that respect. I want to talk about something because time is coming very fast, and we could sit
Yeah,
here for hours. But I learned through the grapevine that you're doing something. You are kind of like ahead of the game, etc. But you're working with a global organization to make to introduce a product. Can you talk about it
yeah.
a little bit? Yes.
Yes, I can definitely talk about it. First, I want to say that I feel super proud that they chose us. And I have to say that I have learned so much from them because even though that they're, a global organization, I feel their roots are very similar to ours as a small business. And
Mm.
it's about offering options. Um, when I started my business, I always wanted it to be healthy food and, organic. But I learned that you can't really tell people what
What
they
to
should
eat?
eat or they don't have. Just give the option. You always try to have, a couple of the best ones and they choose. And I feel this new product is about that. You can't tell a person don't do it, but offer, a healthy option or open an option for them to choose. And I've learned so much from them and how they organize, how launching a new product, how to create expectations. So
Right.
besides the partnership, I feel extremely lucky to learn from them.
So let's talk about the product that it is because people
Yeah.
don't know what it is, and this is not a paid commercial, but I think it's important. What I wanted to bring is exactly what you just said before. This is a global organization. Can I say the name? Or
Yeah.
okay, it's Philip Morris International, which they're introducing a new product that you can talk about it because I'm not versed on it, but I just thought it was interesting that you're providing that option and they selected you to be kind of the local ambassador. So elaborate very briefly what it's all about, and we let people choose what they want, and because you're providing that option, of course.
Yeah, so we are the first retail location for them in a product that is called IQOS, and IQOS is a smoke-free device that it will allow you to still smoke, uh, but without so many side effects that usually cigarettes have.
Right.
Um, they have the option and they have the money to put the product anywhere, and I'm talking about Publix or gas station, but they decided that this alternative, because it's cleaner, they wanted to place it in family business because the whole idea behind is for people that want to stop smoking at
Mhm.
some point, or for people that if they do it casually, at least they have a healthier option, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's basically it. And what I love about their process is they're teaching people. They're not just putting a product in front of
Right.
you. We're gonna have multiple activations happening in which you have like a brand representative, and they're gonna talk to you about the product and they're gonna show you the product. So we're extremely excited to soon having the product here.
I'm excited too, to the point that I'm my next guest is going to be Hernan Albamonte, which I want to have him talk about it because I think it's an approach, a very unique approach. And again, to your point, it's not advocating one thing or the other, but is giving people options because
Yep.
people want to do what they want to do, and I think that that's the beauty of freedom of expression. Last comment in terms of what would you recommend to a Latina that wants to start a new business, like restaurant business, right here in South Florida, very quickly.
Um, I will have to say that being ready is just a feeling. You're never gonna be 100% ready. You just have to do it and you'll figure it out. through the process. And then the second thing, and this is something that is been in my mind for the past weeks, is that we're always seeking for mentorship, and we should be seeking for mentorship and learning. I have different mentors through my life, but you really need to also make a stop in your life and listen to yourself and listen to your God, because sometimes certain mentorship, they look as, maybe people in the bank that, they're telling you what to do. You're listening to your accountant, you're listening, to all these resources that, of course, they're 100% important. But ask yourself, have they been in your shoes? Do they have their own businesses? All these questions, you need to boil it up just to choose really from who you're, taking advice, right?
Yeah,
And stay true to yourself, and stay true to your roots, respect where you're coming from, say it out loud, because Latinas, we make things better, and we need to be proud of that.
absolutely. I want to thank you. I wish that we had more time because we can talk here for hours, which we will do in the future. For sure, I will have you back. I want to thank you again for this inspiring story and your determination and also bold leadership to take, new concepts and new ideas coming up. And we want to wish La Mexicana Taco Bar continuous success, and most importantly for you to continue growing in Fort Lauderdale. I know that soon next year, sometimes you will open your second location. So thank you for that, Diva. And, to the listeners, you're listening to Latin2Latin Connection, which is here to bring a voice to the Latino entrepreneurs like Diva, business people, and civic leaders to share insights about the vibrant and growing Latino community in South Florida. For those interested in reaching out, please contact us at info@l2lmarketing.com or 954-376-4800. And let us know what topics you're interested in listening in at the South Florida Community Roundup. We are featured every third Saturday of every month at 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. And I'm excited to announce, like I mentioned again, that my next guest will be Hernan Albamonte, Director of External Affairs from PMI Philip Morris International. Stay tuned y hasta la próxima.